9:04. We're reaching you live from Etimi and Crescent Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Lagos, good morning to you. Welcome to the second part of Dailies today. The first part usually starts around 6:10 after the news in the morning. Don't miss that one as well with Kofi Battels. But in the meantime, we're here now. I'm Sheriff Quadry.
And I'm Jimmy Disu. Good morning.
Righty, so you can watch us live on Facebook and on YouTube. Nigeria Info 99.3 is how you can be a part of the show. Nigeria Info 99.3 on Facebook, detail YouTube. Here we go. We're going to start with the story here on page 7 of the Punch newspaper. Tinubu cuts short France trip, swears CJN today.
Okay, I'm in a mischievous mood this morning, so I'm first of all going to ask the Punch. Why do you say he cut short the trip? He never told us how long it was going for.
True.
So we don't know whether he cut short. And secondly, he can't be cut short. He must have a diary. His diary would have told him that the CJ would have his last day yesterday. There can't be a vacuum, and the new acting CJ, will be sworn in today. So I don't know. It just raises a few questions in my mind, but I'm just being mischievous, really. But that's what it is. He's going to swear in Justice Kekere Ekun. As acting, she will be acting until she's cleared by the National Assembly. Is that right, Abby?
Yes, right.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Well, she's scaled the first hurdle. And is this the first time we're having a female CJ? Remind me.
I suppose.
I think so.
I suppose.
That I can remember. And she comes highly recommended with the right kind of pedigree, to the best of my knowledge. And so she has a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Because to put it bluntly, the judiciary that the last CJ left is a mess, if you ask me. It's a mess. So in her 4 or 5 year tenure, she has a whole, I think she's 66 now, she has a whole lot of reforms to carry out, and she needs to bring dignity back to the job. Also, I'd like to call the attention of our top lawyers who have the influence. There's the Nigerian Judicial Institute, if that is what I think I saw.
Okay.
Put an ad yesterday in the papers congratulating the CJ on his tenure, and put another one in the papers today welcoming the new CJ. The judiciary at that level is not a political party. It's extra conservative, and for the life of me, I don't think I've ever seen this kind of thing happen. Let's turn this whole thing into an alamala thing. A CJ comes, a CJ goes. It should be very, very conservative. So one where you splash photographs of CJs congratulating on this and on that. Please, I think we should note that. And for those who might want to be congratulating her on her appointment, I'd advise Justice Kekere Ekun to quickly issue a statement that she could do without the newspaper adverts congratulating her. Maybe that would be a very good place to start. When I was growing up as a teenager and a young man in this country, judges were never heard. They were never seen. They were just heard through their judgments, and that was it. But the mess we're in, I think if Justice Kekere Ekun will quickly issue a statement today to say, look, all these congratulatory ads and so on and so forth, or somebody could do so on her behalf. I wish her luck. She's going to need it. Most importantly, she comes from the kind of pedigree that cannot afford the slightest of mistakes.
Indeed. I did a small search here. First female Chief Justice of Nigeria, Aloma Mariam Mokhtar, GCON, born 20 November 1944. She's a Nigerian jurist and
first female
CJN.
What year was that?
That was in 2012.
Was it for a very brief period?
From 2012 to 2014.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That escaped me.
Yeah,
okay.
Me too.
Thank God I didn't say that Justice Kekere Ekun was the first. I asked the question.
Yeah, you asked. Let's go to this open letter to the president from the Voice of Reason. This is a publication in the Punch, by the way.
Yes, I don't know who this.
Spread.
I don't know who these people are, and I for the life of me, I'm sure this is an advert, center spread advert, costs a lot of money. I don't know who they are, but the content of what they're saying here is worth examining, and it's a 2-page letter to the president, maybe because it's 1 year in office, and they put on the top of it his own quotation, where Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he was a senator, and he says that it would be better to restructure things to attain the correct balance between our collective purpose on one hand and our separate grassroots realities on the other. So, anyway, they're suggesting so many things, they're recommending so many things. If you have time, please pick up the Punch. It's on the center spread. But let's just quickly go through what they're talking about. They talk about immediate recommendations. They say it is imperative that we address the current challenges with immediate, decisive, and comprehensive actions to restore hope, stability, and prosperity to our beloved nation. Modalities for immediate economic relief and stabilization. 1, or A, emergency food and cash relief. We don't have what it takes to do that effectively. So don't even go there. So I'm disagreeing with them from point 1. You can't distribute any food or cash. It will be compromised. So don't let's even go there. 2, price control measures. Introduce price controls on essential goods and services. If you try that, it will become more expensive because it will move to the black market. Economics talk about demand and supply.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So boost the supply and see prices come down. So number 2 is also thrown by me. I don't think that I would like to subscribe to that. Number 3, transport support. Initiate an accelerated program for cheaper transportation to reduce the financial burden on citizens, particularly those in lower income brackets. I would rather say take a second look at this subsidy regime thing and see if there is some alternative that we can have, because we need something immediate. Talking about transport support, it's going to take time to turn around whatever we are suggesting here. So I would rather say, because that's where the bad boy is. The bad boy is in the fuel price. So D, curb profligacy in government expenditure. Cut the cost of governance by curbing wasteful spending. This government cannot do that. They don't have the capability because they have the wrong attitude to governance. And telling them, writing letters is not going to change anything. We've been at this for 1 year, and I've come to realize that nothing is going to change, Sheriff.
Right.
This is the way they are wired. Okay, it's the way they are wired. There's no way I would say a few things that might not sound insulting, so I just leave it at that. But that's the way they are wired. They will continue wasteful spending because there's a sense of entitlement to that, and there's a lack of understanding of what leadership means. Leadership to a lot of the group in this new government is we must show them. Do you understand what I'm saying? You must show them we are the ones in charge. Look at them, look at their friends, look at their associates. It's the same. The other day I was surprised when people started accusing the new CBN governor of certain compromises, and I said, when did he just start? Talking about increase in allowances and so on and so forth. I don't know if it's true, but I was surprised that for a man like Cardoso that all of us had known, this kind of things will come up. It's up to him to defend himself on that. So, again, that's another problem. Trimming of the cabinet to the minimum allowable by the Constitution, that is also affected by attitude. President Tinubu does what he wants. And you saw that during the campaign when he said, you can shout all you will, I'm going to do this. And do it is going to do. Okay? So that, again, there's no point. I don't like beating about, or like my brother Tosin will say, I don't like faffing about. You're just faffing and talking, but you know that it won't get done. So, another one, expedite policies to improve security architecture of our nature. To improve that security architecture, the first thing you need to put your finger on is corruption. And I don't think, at this rate, I don't think there's anybody with the moral right who can do that as we speak. Because I don't think any of our leaders can look in the mirror and say that this thing is not going to bounce back on me. We see these things. So then they must have something that I like. They talk about agricultural support and development, invest in the agricultural sector by providing subsidies, modern farming equipment, and training programs. Well, maybe peace and security, strengthen security forces to address ongoing violence and insurgency. You can only strengthen security forces, stamping out corruption and increasing the morale of those you give the responsibility for security. How much is a policeman being paid? How much is a soldier being paid? There was a soldier who was on the war front in Maiduguri. He wanted to go home for vacation. He couldn't. He went back to the front. Then we've seen videos of food that is alleged that is being served. It's a matter, because if something tells me if you cannot take in is that a lot of our security people are every man for himself and God for us all. In the police, for example, I will assume if I were a lower level policeman, I'd be struggling to be attached to a VIP. And if you put me on the road, Roja is going on left, right, and center. So until we do that, there's very little. We'll just be faffing. Sorry, Tosin, I keep using your word. Industrialization and SME, support small and medium enterprises. That also has a problem. The focus of our government is on satisfying the IMF and the World Bank. That's what it is. The focus, whether you like it or not, is on so-called foreign investors that we haven't seen in a year and satisfying the whims and caprices of the World Bank and the IMF. So, governance and institutional strengthening, transparent governance, enhanced transparency. There can't be transparency in Nigeria the way our country is structured. Forget it. Don't let's just flog ourselves unduly. Transparent to who? At what level are you going to have transparency? Local government? States?
Is it impossible?
It's impossible in Nigeria now.
To get someone who will be transparent.
If he's transparent, they will get rid of him. Let's tell ourselves, don't let's faff again. Sorry, don't let's faff around. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Under the current dispensation that we have, where people will tell you publicly that they bought their appointment. What transparency are you talking about? Before I was made minister, I know what I paid. I know those I have to settle. And it's gone all the way down the line to local government, even at traditional institutions, even in church. Yes, even in church. So there's a lot to, and I don't want to waste too much time. All tiers of government functionaries and appointees must refrain from making unguarded utterances. They will, because the center is not holding.
They will continue to make.
They will continue. Look at Bayo Onuga now. They will continue. And SSA information or whatever it is to a president who takes up an ethnic battle. They will continue. The center is not holding. There's a crack in the center. Put it bluntly, the president is not hands-on. That's why you have this list comes out, oh, it's taking back. List comes out, oh, it's taking back. Policy comes back, oh, that's what you have. And Nigeria needs a very strong man who can take on the country hands-on. For example, a man like Obasanjo, whatever you might say about him. A lot of people don't like him because he doesn't pander to people's sentiments. He does what he thinks is right. So, implementation of the Oronsaye committee. This one is going to end up in the Nigerian Institute of Management and in what's this one they call in VI here? In the libraries. It's going to end up in the libraries of the university and so on and so forth. This Oronsaye report. It is obvious that the powers that don't want it carried out are more than the powers that want it. So you keep whipping it up. It will keep coming up. During campaign, it will come up. But it won't be done. Because, Sheriff, This thing should have been, Oronsaye report should have been carried out long time ago, within 2 months that it was released. But we still don't have that leadership that can sit down and study it and provide a lead. We don't have it. Okay. It says that declare a state of emergency in the power sector. But like he did it, everybody has done it. What is going on in the power sector is beyond redemption. Because if you don't have a total overhaul and change of attitude, you're not going to get anything done.
Nothing will change.
Nothing will change. Until now, all the things they're suggesting here cannot be done under this leadership. Either because of lack of capability or because of attitude. Don't let's far from and waste 30 minutes talking about things that cannot happen. There are other suggestions there. If you want, you might want to read it. But I thank them for their patriotism, though.
Yeah, that's really commendable.
It's commendable. It is nice. It is nice to see Nigerians who are ready to contribute. People like us who howl every morning in the radio, in the TVs, the Baloye, the Rufais, this and that. It's nice to see that we have such people. But we're all on a wasteful exercise, really. We're fighting.
I don't agree. Respectfully.
I'm talking out of frustration.
I don't agree.
I'm talking in parables.
Efalashi. Let's move on. If you're just tuning in, you're welcome to the program.
Let me just quickly put it in.
Yes, please.
You get a feeling that you're talking to deaf people.
They are not deaf. They're listening.
No,
they hear you every morning. Do you know? Of course, you know.
They hear you too. They hear Rufai. They hear Okimbaloye. They hear all these things. And the people the irony, like Mrs. Oboli will say, is that the people who are most affected, who need it most, are the ones who will go after you again. I don't know. I don't know if my friend Rufai can walk the streets. I'm going to put the call to we don't like the truth. And that's because of our attitude, especially in the area of religion. They will tell you God will do it. A miracle there is no miracle anywhere. This country will go to ruin if we don't do the things that are necessary. And you can see it. Every subsequent year is worse than the previous year. Now, typical Nigerians, some people are saying they're working out a plan now to go and bring back Jonathan. In a country of about 200 and something million, why must you keep going back and forth? You want to bring back the old national anthem. You keep going back and forth. So you want to bring back Jonathan again.
Is that a conversation now?
It's a conversation that's going on with some people in the PDP. Because we don't, like Blade would say, we don't think deeply. Just don't think deeply. When I saw it, I said, there we go again. So we'll move from this one again now to Pepe.
Do you think that there is any genuine political opposition in Nigeria?
There is none.
Today?
There is none. Most of the politicians are just a bunch of hustlers. The real guys who have the thinking and the wherewithal don't have the money. You go wait to 2017, there'll be 2027 is round the corner. You will see what will happen. You think any election would take place without you spending a lot of money in this era of poverty?
Right.
At the very least, if you want to do campaign, you must provide lunch and a transport fare.
Okay.
I've told, if you want to listen to Hope, you go to church. Today is Friday, you can go to Mosalachi, your chief imam will tell you hope and pray. Or you can go to church on Sunday. Those who drink tea with God and who they will tell you all these funny stories. Listen to what these things we have been saying have been constant and it hasn't gotten better. And they'll still be telling you pray, but they'll be getting fatter and better.
Richer.
And drinking tea.
Let's go to our next story this morning. Here we go. End bad governance. Release detained protesters now. Onaiko, Ariwa Youths, CSOs.
I'm glad that we have a religious leader. I wonder what has happened to Tunde Bakare, though. The country needs his support. I'm going to drag him out, see if I can bring him to the studio. But I'm glad that Onaiko is lending his voice. Why do you want to heighten the crisis that we have? Release these people.
Right.
And if you have anything specific against them, take them to court. It's not to be punitive. It's not an offense for you to demonstrate. It's not an offense. If you found out either that there is more to it than meets the eye, we need an explanation. Don't just hold people unduly. Listen, tomorrow you could find yourself in a position that you know that what goes round always comes round. So you better lay a good example now. And besides, you've gotten away with it temporarily. Why do you want to heighten? Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you want another demonstration to say that, okay, what we are talking about now is releasing these people? And government should understand that detaining people, it hardens those who are protesters. It makes them happy. It gives them a better purpose to do it. So the government too should be looking for peace. And now you've heard from the Lord Bishop, Archbishop Onaiko, and they talk about, it says adequate notice must be given to suspects to enable them contact NBA families for defense. That's Falana. Falana resolves to defend cases filed against protesters by 2 states. I wish a lot more lawyers of Mr. Falana's stature would come off their high horse and contribute to the development of this country. I wish we had a lot more people like him. After Gani, we've had Falana. After Falana, I don't think there's any top lawyer. I think, of course, everybody is busy hustling and trying to make money for themselves. But there's something about giving back to your society.
Right.
And I think if we had more lawyers getting involved in this, there are a few more. They might not be as exposed. There's one gentleman, Iniebong. He's coming up. There's my very good friend. I've forgotten his name, the one with the white hair. You don't know him. He's like, I've forgotten his name. But thanks to the likes of Falana. Meanwhile, in the area of national honors, he hasn't gotten any. You understand? But if they're going to bring out the next national honors now,
you see plenty.
Look at the university now. One of the state universities. They gave an honorary degree to a politician. It's been turned into a chieftaincy title. Can I escape?
We have to go now. Yes,
okay,
we must go now.
Okay,
we must go now. But you're back at 9.
By His grace.
Yes, he's back at 9. Let's hand you back now to Kofi Battels for the continuation of Open Mic Friday on the Morning Crossfire Lagos. Thank you for being a part of the show this morning. Please stay with us here on Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.